Okay. Well, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hope everybody is doing well. Here we are, another live stream coming to you live. You couldn't have a live stream if everybody was dead. A live stream.
A live stream coming to you live.
Coming to you live.
Coming from live stream, coming to you recorded.
Recorded last week.
We recorded this 3 hours earlier, like
yes,
the Tonight Show.
Yeah. All right, so gosh, hope everybody's doing well. Wes is here, my smart-ass son, as you can tell. Say hi, Wes.
Hi, Wes.
And Gail's working the board. And here we are, another live stream. Another week has gone by. Christmas is gone. So I was going to play another Christmas song, and I was met with opposition. So I did my favorite things, which is kind of, that's not really a Christmas song. And it kind of is. They play it at Christmas. I don't know why. But it doesn't mention Christmas in it. Does it, Wes?
I don't know. I think it's just about gifts, right?
It's about getting your favorite stuff, I guess. Yeah.
By the way, I shot down the Christmas song idea real quick.
Yes.
Should I play a Christmas song? No. Definitely not. Didn't even get through the whole sentence before.
Yeah.
No. Who does that? When Christmas is over, people don't continue to play Christmas stuff.
Yes, they do. Right up till New Year's Eve.
I don't know what
you turn on the radio now. You'd hear it.
Yeah. I was listening to the radio on the way over here. And the station that plays all Christmas songs all month long no longer is playing Christmas songs.
Really?
And they only play Christmas songs for a whole month, and they are no longer. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're getting it says here overall volume of everything is weak. Did you see that?
That's what Mark Larkin said, but I don't.
Looks like
What do you want me to do?
The meters are up. Yeah, looks like they're on the meters are
It's
okay.
the same as it just always is. I don't know. Like I said, we need to get a consultant in here.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have a special guest today coming to you later on. Did you tell everybody who it is?
Did you hear me say it? I put it in the chat. Yeah.
Oh, you put it in the chat.
Yeah.
I was going to let it be a surprise, but you know what? I forgot to bring his books out. We're going to have Pat Kelley come by. Pat has played with George Benson and Natalie Cole, lots and lots of folks. So he's going to come by, and we're going to talk about the Guitar Fest coming up and just overall guitar stuff.
Yeah.
So what we're featuring today is this little guy. Let me see if I amp is there. This is the Henriksen Bud.
Come on, you got it.
10
You
inch.
can do it. Yes.
Bud 10.
You got it.
Thank you. Yeah, Bud 10. It's got a 10-inch speaker in it. It's got a tweeter, which is nice because it can make it sound a nylon string or a steel string guitar. Acoustic amp needs a tweeter, I believe. So it's a wonderful, cool amp. It's light, 120 watts, 5-band EQ. Can you focus in on that EQ there? Next picture down.
Yeah.
Next one. There, yeah, you see that? So you got low, mids, high, and then presence. And then you got your volume. It's got phantom power if you need for a mic. There, you can plug a mic in there. It's got phantom power. Balanced XLR output. Post EQ and reverb. Post. That's after your stuff. So you can control things. And then it's got a wireless auxiliary input. Where is the bag, Wes?
I got it back here.
Because in the bag, we should show the bag. It's really nice. The amp is wonderful. There's the bag, but it also comes with, get that little hedge thing, that little wedge thing out of there.
Here.
Whoa. This is going to end well. So anyway, here's the... It's got this thing in it. It's just a very cool little deal. So it's a wedge. You put your amp there, and the amp can point upwards. And it's got rubber feet on the back there, if you can see. And it folds up nice and neat. You can stick it in the bag, Velcroed on there. It's a very thoughtful little piece of gear. Wonderful bag here, the strap. For the guy that needs to strap to get on the subway to go play a gig.
That bag it's nice. It's like a nice heavy duty bag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd rather carry it with that bag than just by the, So
yeah.
It's cool that it comes with it because, some of the other companies, you got to pay extra for the bag.
Yes. It's got a headphone jack. And if you're thinking about ordering one, here's the thing. It's got a 30-day money-back guarantee. But if you use the coupon code Guitar College, you'll get 5% off anything on the Henriksen website. Also includes free shipping, the gig bag, and sales tax.
All right.
There.
I think we got it.
So Guitar College. So Peter has stepped up, and he is the proud sponsor of our Central Coast Jazz Guitar Fest. And Peter will be out there, and he will be bringing a bunch of amps. He's actually wanted to do a little class on them, so we're going to have that. So that is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, very cool. So if you guys, if you want to test out one of those amps, bring your guitar.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to bring your guitar to this thing.
Yeah, bring your guitar and then head into the exhibit room and see what it sounds like with your guitar. Maybe be the proud owner of a Henriksen. Now, someone asked why you chose the Bud 10 instead of the Bud 6.
Good question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 6 seemed awful little. And so, and Peter, said, you start playing at a higher volume and stuff, so you got to have the bigger speaker, a little more wattage, I think. I don't know what the wattage is of the Bud 6. But, I just chose that because I thought it would be a little more versatile. Plus, I wanted the Bud because I usually, if we're at a show or something, I have people play with me and we have 2 inputs. So that's why I chose that.
Got it. Yeah. The Bud 6 weighs 13 pounds compared to, what's that Bud 10 weigh? It doesn't say on here. Dang it. But they're light, man. Those amps are light. They're easy to take around.
Yeah, they're light.
I mean, especially the Bud 6 definitely would be probably 13 pounds. So, yeah. My guess is this one's under 20. Only 20 pounds, it says. There it is.
I'd say it's right at 20. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a nice amp, and I've got this L5. I figured if it could make an L5 sound good, it should be able to make any guitar sound good. Now we've got this overhead mic picking up all this other noise, like my chair. I'll play a tune in a minute. Who we got with us? I noticed we have Rob Riggs. What's happening, Rob? Robin Riggs.
There's a lot.
Jim Roffey.
There's a lot of people here already.
Wow, and Eddie Davis. What's happening? Here in Iceland, Christmas doesn't end officially until the 6th of January. See? Look at that. 6th of January. I hate to get rid of Christmas so fast.
Danielle Emberly's here. She said that she has a Bud 6. Used it at a small coffee house. Was very happy.
Nice.
Using the Bud 6 for vocal with a Shure Beta 57. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, that is nice that you can plug a mic into those. I need to get something like that pretty soon.
Yeah, and it's got the 5-band EQ.
Yep.
Did they also have a 12-inch Bud? I don't know. That would be
I don't
Sir Bud.
think so. No, they have a 6 and a 10 and then a head. Just the Bud head. But tons of people here already. Like we're in the 80s so far. William Melton is here.
William, what's happening?
He's off work today, so he's able to tune into the whole show. Sweet.
How's your back, buddy?
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
He ruined his back on the first day back to work or something. Anyway, after his vacation.
Al's here. Jimmy Wynn.
Jimmy Wynn, that's Frank Body.
Yeah, and he has a question for you. I have a drop dead gorgeous 89 Golden Eagle. However, it has a floating pickup, and I just don't like the sound, no matter how I tweak it for jazz. So before I cut the top, help. What other options are there?
Well, you can get a different pickup. What you might do is call up Bartolini and ask them and tell them you want a darker sound. So does your Golden Eagle have a tone control? Is that bothering you? And some of them don't. You might want to add a tone control. That also roll the volume back on your Golden Eagle. Roll it back to 8. So don't play it wide open. It gets a little too trebly like that. I've had a few of those guitars, and I've always wished I would have kept one. Of course, but they do, a floater is going to sound like a floater. It's not going to sound like a mounted pickup. Just isn't. But what you might do is, like I said, call up Bartolini and or Seymour Duncan. Just call them up. And same thing with Armstrong. Is that? Help me out, Wes. Armstrong?
Armstrong?
No.
That doesn't sound right.
Who makes the pickups for Eastman?
God damn, I have no idea.
Kent Armstrong.
Oh.
Yeah, Kent Armstrong. Call him up. Real nice guy. Just tell him what's going on, and I bet you they have some solutions to you.
Didn't you have a Dragonfire floating pickup that you really liked?
Not a floater, no.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. It was a P90 that fitted in a humbucker hole, which is nice, but again, it's not really, it's not for Frank. By the way, Frank, I bought that guitar that you told me to buy.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know, but I did. And so we'll check it out and we'll show it one of these days.
Yeah, here it's a Gretsch, by the way, so it's going to be interesting to feature on here, a Gretsch.
Yeah.
That will be our first Gretsch featured on the show.
It will be.
And let me tell you, it is not a high-end Gretsch. It is about as bottom of the barrel as you can get for a Gretsch, but hey, we'll see what it does for sure.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah. I noticed Ralph Stanfield, Ralphie Valadares from the T-Birds. That's not him, but I always call him that. He says, I guess no more Quilter. Well, here's the deal. I love Quilter amps, and I will continually play them and stuff like that. Absolutely. I've got I don't know how many I got. 4, something like that. But, and I get them for people all the time. They're a great little amp. But you know what? You get used to a sound and you're happy and I've been playing those things for 10 years or so. And then after a while, you kind of think, I want something else. And the amplifier is half of your sound, right? At least, so that's all so that's the deal. So I'm excited about this amp.
Someone asked, let's see, Scott Parsons, can you talk tube versus solid state?
Yeah. Add 25 pounds.
There you go.
On anything with power. Usually the power ratings on a tube amp is much, if it's only got 10 watts, that's like 50 watts of solid state, something like that. So actually when Pat gets here, he's really an authority on amps. He continually plays out of his father's amp, which was a Fender Bassman with 410s. and he had it completely rebuilt and stuff, and he loves it. And then he also plays out of a deluxe, an older deluxe. So we could talk tubes with him. Tubes definitely have a certain sound, but the technology of today, with the quilters and Henriksen, it's like, wow, it's hard to beat that sound, and you got the light. So, plus the maintenance on them, you don't have to. Do you remember? I remember being at a gig, and like the tube goes out on your amp, and now during the break, we got to run down to Thrifty Drug and test our tubes, see which one's bad, and buy a new tube. And back then, the tubes were so dang cheap. A 6L6 was probably $4, Now a 6L6 is what, 25, 30? I don't know. And so, I remember doing that. So you don't have that, and also riding around the car, the tubes get loose and bumping around. And so anyway, I sold my Vibro Lux. I had a Vibro Lux for years and years, and I loved that amp. Played with it forever. But it has been sitting in my storage unit for the last 10 years, whenever I started with Quilter. And so I finally, I took that and a couple other amps to a shop down in Oceanside that a friend of mine runs, and put it on consignment, and he sold that amp. So no more tubes.
And in feedback too, right?
Well, the thing about it is you get a 12-inch speaker, like a twin, or even my 210s on the Vibro Lux. I used to have a Vibro Verb. Now, that's an amp I would buy again. But, they'll feedback. Fenders, they're built for Fender guitars, to be quite honest with you. I think they sound best for Fender guitars. That's my 2 cents. Did you know Fender used to give their guitars away, Wes, when they were first started out? That's why all those surf guys, he find a band and give them to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like that anymore. Well, I'm sure they give away plenty of guitars still.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah.
But there's about 20,000 other options out there now compared to back then as well. So, yeah.
How do you think this guitar sounds through this amp?
It sounds good.
I think it sounds really transparent sounding.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks with the overhead mic on. I guess it's kind of what we're hearing, right? But when you kill these overheads for a second. It sounds good, definitely.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys.
John Smith said, didn't Wes Montgomery use a Fender amp?
I imagine he did at times, but I remember seeing him in those pictures with Standells, so. Plus, when you look at how the volume level of how Wes played on like that Live in Germany thing, he's got the amp sitting right next to him, right, and it's competing with a acoustic piano on for the stage volume, so it's pretty low in volume. So I don't know. Rob says my Vibro Verb was a Blackface 115. You're absolutely right. I wish I never would have got rid of that. I traded that thing for a Maestro Echoplex. Man, God. Yeah. Anyway, So we have everybody's got stories like that. But back then it was like, hey, until Stevie Ray Vaughan played him, nobody cared about that amp. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's someone asked again, like, what's the comparison to the Quilter other than the weight? I mean, they sound pretty similar. I mean, I would venture out to say that these are your two best options for jazz guitar amps right now.
Yeah, the Quilter is also built to be more of a versatile amp. This is a jazz amp. I can't see a guy taking this and playing classic rock with it. I just don't see it, but I can see it with the Quilter because it's got all these tweaking. You can get the black face sound, the blonde, and
yeah, it's got a bunch of modeling stuff on it, right?
Yeah, it's not. According to Pat, it's not modeling. It's actual circuit boards that it's going through to get that mojo. But anyway, it's so it's more of a guitar amp that's much more versatile. But the last time I did a classic rock gig, I can't even remember when that was. That's how long ago it was. So I was with a little big band at one time, and they do I Wish and things like that, and then that was fun. But back then I played my Vibro Lux, and then right before, well, then I got rid of it and had my little tiny Quilter, and those guys loved that amp. They loved it. They said, "Oh man, we can really hear you, no matter where we're at." And it had that wider dispersion with that little speaker, and it was just cranked. So I remember, it's not too often you walk into a rehearsal with your amp and plug it in, start playing, and the horn players go, "Hey man, that really sounds nice." So it's like, thank you. That's cool. So that's my story.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think you nailed it on the head, though. That thing is definitely made for jazz, for sure. Just because of the amount, there's just an EQ and reverb and a volume, basically. And that new Quilter. Oh, yeah, has like 1,000 knobs on it.
It's got more knobs than the Space Shuttle.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this doesn't have any kind of overdrive or anything like that.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Let's see, who else is here today? Gordon Zoots from Birmingham. Carlos Campos, Michael Batten, Tom Colhane from Connecticut.
Tom, what's happening, Tom?
Yeah, Keith Davis, Medford, Oregon. Lachlan's in San Antonio today. Normally Colorado.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, nice.
Well, I just saw from Bruce here, Fender only made 400 of those amps. One sold at my guitar show 3 years ago for $9,000. Oh, my stomach hurts. Oh, man, that's crazy. I had a chance to buy those amps a couple of times, and back then it was like, man, am I going to pay $3,000 for this amp that my mom bought for, I think, $212 or something? So, no, I couldn't. Quilter had a steel air amp with a 15-inch speaker. That was a nice amp, and that rivaled that Vibro Verb. Oh. Well, we got some comments here on people doing.
Well, let's hear you play more on that thing. Like, we're not done.
I'm gonna let me do this. It's New Year's Eve, right? It's coming up.
Right.
I think we
are aware of this.
It's the toughest holiday ever. if you're out gigging, everybody's having a blast except you. I mean, you're having kind of fun, but you think, God, I wish I was out there having fun. And then if you don't go out anywhere, you feel like, wow, gee whiz, what am I missing? And then finally we decided we celebrate our New Year's Eve, New York time out in California, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock is our New Year's Eve. I'd like to be on a cruise ship for New Year's Eve. I think that'd be fun. So here's Old Lang Syne. Do you want to, yeah.
All right, how about some actual like jazz on that thing? You got like a couple of weird like holiday songs, and how about just like a straight up jazz song?
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, it's a jazz amp, is it? I know. And what's the different? Like, do you find amps different for like fingerstyle and playing out? Like.
Well, what I like about this is it does have the tweeter. Now, I don't know how well that projects, but at least when you're sitting there, you got that tweeter, and which I have the tweeter on, and it makes it. You can hear the high end of an acoustic guitar or a nylon string, and it just sounds so nice.
And that is another option on that thing is you could turn the tweeter off.
Right.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
So the Quilter, though, none of them have tweeters, right? Or does that Micro Pro, that used to?
No.
Gotcha.
No, and it didn't handle a nylon string as well as I think it could have. But, hey, is that Colin? Colin Kiffin's here. Hi, Colin.
Yeah, he said...
we used to be in a band in high school together.
Yeah, and he said we used your vibroverb for a PA back in the day.
Yeah.
I had 2 Vibroluxes, 12s, and early on a Vibrolux with 2 10s. Don't really miss them. Using a Quilter Navigator 12 now. Sounds great.
Yeah. You mean Aviator, I think. Maybe it's a Navigator. I don't know.
Well,
good for you, man. That's great.
Isn't the Aviator the one that you have?
Yeah. That's got a 12-inch Aviator. I don't think they make a Navigator.
That has a 12-inch? Yeah, I must mean Aviator.
Which is it, Colin? Is it in the air or is it in the ocean? If you get really tired of it and throw it away, it might end up in the ocean.
Mark Wilkerson says here, I've owned 5 jazz amps. My Henriksen Bud 10 is the best sounding amp I've ever heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Yeah, you ready to play something?
Yeah. I was thinking about playing jingles, but I don't know if I can remember it. So I'm going to start it. If it doesn't work.
Yikes. Buckle up, people.
All right, that was the rehearsal. Let's try it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the woodshed is back there.
Dang.
Wow, yeah. All right. Yeah, the head got you there.
You know what, man? You should have heard me play this about 7 or 8 months ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, I smoking.
I smoking. So we just had 111 people watching today.
Wow, thank you, you guys.
That's definitely the highest we've ever had.
Yeah. Sure. So remember, this is your live stream, so please ask questions and what have you.
Hey, can you tilt down that that amp And so we can see this, what your settings look like.
You know, they're flat. It's that top knob, the top line there.
Yeah, they are.
They're flat.
There you go.
I like my amp settings like I like my women. No, not really. That was a joke.
Zing.
I know I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Zing.
I can't.
Yeah, Funky Dead Fish said he's got one and he wanted to see your settings. So they're flat. They're just right up the middle. So interesting. I swear, like,
That's how that damn song goes.
you always like try these ambitious songs all the time are like really hard. Like that song's not easy, right? Obviously.
No.
When I'm like, play some jazz, I'm like, play like Autumn Leaves or something easy. Or easier. Not to say that's easy, but
Yeah.
you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Because I was looking at that title this morning because I was looking at what to play, and I saw jingles, and I thought, well, I'll try it. But I didn't have time to rehearse it, which... So anyway. How does this guitar sound with this amp?
When I was listening to it just there on that last one, it doesn't sound that far off from what it sounds like plugged straight into the mixing board.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty true sound there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Good point, Wes. Good. That a boy, Wes.
Yeah, because, it definitely still has that full tone of that L5 for sure. Which is what you want for jazz, right?
Yeah. Hey, look at Bruce's thing up there. I just got a 68 Gretsch Streamliner 6103 in that was used by a pastor with an accordion. I am going to get it set up and imitated. What does that say? Intonated should be. And have you ever played one of those? I've never have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, are you reading the comments? It's not good TV. That's for sure. Or I don't know, maybe I get a kick out of it, but I'm sure.
Well, yeah, what does that say, Wes? Sure, say there, Wes. Well,
and Frank Body did say, sorry you do not like the Gretsch. It's not like he doesn't like it. We haven't.
No, yeah.
Factory. It's still set up with the factory. We haven't done it, and you haven't even played it.
I haven't plugged it in or anything. No, I don't unlike it at all. No, it's a lot of guitar for the money. So yeah.
But Gretsch, a lot of people on here have Gretches. Don Boudreau, who he's our newest Jazz Guitar Accelerator student.
Yes, that's true.
We're gonna be shortly after the new year, after we get these holidays out of the way. But a Gretsch 5622 with a nut buster on it. Great guitar. What exactly is a nut buster?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
It doesn't sound fun.
Got another double anniversary 6118, two-tone green, all hollow, both excellent. Yeah, I bet you that thing's sweet. I mean, do any jazz guys play Gretches? I mean, some of them look like a jazz guitar.
I know. So.
But are they all just strictly like bluegrass, or not bluegrass,
chat,
but country and
chat, rockabilly?
Right. That finger picking and.
Yeah.
They had a giant booth at the Chet Atkins show.
They did.
For sure. I mean, they're one of only a handful of guitar companies there.
I mean, that's their wheelhouse.
Yeah. But, I mean, it seems like you can make one sound good for jazz. Maybe not. We should try it. I guess we are going to try it. Although the one that you got isn't necessarily the top pick. It's skinny. Yeah. Tom.
Okay.
Tom said, Rich, can you play
Blues for Alice?
The tune that has the same basic chord structure as Blues for Alice. You covered it a month or two back, different head, same basic harmony.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So Blues for Alice is the same progression as the tune Cookin'. Cookin' is Clifford Brown's song I learned a long time ago. And it's basically, you call it bird changes, if you will. And Blues for Alice is in F. The other one's in B flat. So let's do the other one. Do you want the other one? Then it sounded like you wanted Cookin'. I'll play Cookin'. We're running out of time here because Pat's going to be here soon.
Yeah.
Here we go. Get ready, Wes.
Hold that organ out. There we go. Love it. So that's what I'm talking, like that would be like a song that's like, yeah, you can easily get through it and just, kind of jam.
Yes, very good. So I wanted to make a note. Colin, where'd you go? Colin was in here somewhere. Colin Kiffin, he's still playing music. All the guys in our band, back in high school, every one of us is still playing music. Isn't that crazy? So the drummer, Boyd, has not a little big band. He's got a full-on big band. Pat Flynn moved to Nashville, became a session guitarist and producer. And I do this. And Colin is out gigging and writing songs and stuff. He became a real excellent steel player. But, yeah, isn't that weird? We're all still playing.
Yeah, and you guys all still get together and play for those reunion things.
We do.
That's super cool.
That's very cool. Yeah, so Pat should be showing up here pretty soon. Oh, let me play this song. What do you do on New Year's Eve, okay?
Sure.
Because, again, don't fall asleep on this. We're going to lose people, I know. Because it's...
Wow, big setup there. Oh, man.
Here we go. What?
No, nothing good. That's a cool song. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the Road Again said, in the West, in the last few weeks, you mentioned that you need more volume on the live stream. There's a file you can add on OBS called Gain, which will automatically make each live stream louder. So that's exactly what we need to do. Thank you, On the Road Again. We do need to switch to OBS at a certain point.
I thought we were using OBS.
Streamlabs.
Oh, I thought they were the same thing. They're not.
No.
Okay.
I mean, Streamlabs is OBS, but it runs through Streamlabs thing. They're basically running OBS for you.
I see.
Yeah. So, so.
Okay.
A lot of people talking about the Gretsch New Yorker.
Oh, yeah.
That's definitely one that guys play jazz with, for sure. I think it was John Smith that said he had one.
Now, did they make
It's great.
a Made in America version of that, or, for jazz, or is it just overseas? I'm asking that question to our friends out there. Did you see what Roland? Hi, Roland. Roland, so jazz rhythm guitarist Freddie Green played a Gretsch El Dorado archtop for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, so Gretsch, we should see about one of those. I mean, I'm sure a New Yorker, I've definitely heard of jazz guys playing that.
Did you see Fred Gretsch was in Nashville at the Chet thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Eddie Davis asked, do you know Groove Yard?
Yeah, let's see. No. No, I don't. I need to work on that. But that's a great tune. There's so many versions of it, nobody knows what the right one is. So, yeah, don't forget. Another shameless plug. Use coupon code when you go to Henriksen. You'll get 5% off.
Awesome.
I think that's pretty nice of him. And by the way, I want to thank you guys in the past for giving Wes these tips.
Yes, yes.
He's gotten some really nice tips, and well, they're all nice. And that's really kind of you, because he does work a little bit at this.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And so, but yeah, thank you. Anytime you could give him a tip.
Yeah.
Gum legs in the fourth. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I do appreciate it for sure. Last couple of weeks, you guys have been awesome, and yeah, makes my life a little easier. That's for sure. And yeah, I enjoy doing this, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, but it is a lot of work. I get here pretty early and just set everything up, and yeah. I mean, all the work is on YouTube that I do. The stupid descriptions and titles and
pain
in my ass. I gotta do everything with the algorithm. The descriptions will only be this long.
Yeah.
Make sure you have this links and blah blah blah. It's just like, oh. So yeah, maybe my New Year's resolution will be to hire a YouTube manager for us.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, you guys, please talk to us here. Talk to me. Come on now. Come on.
I'm going to, if you do.
Do you think Pat's here?
Well, she was supposed to text me when he got here.
Oh.
But you can continue to talk. You don't have to just sit in silence until he gets here.
Okay. I'm sorry. You know what? You know what I was messing around with? When we talk about melodic minor scale, and sometimes that scale gets a little confusing. So what I was thinking, For instance, you would use C sharp melodic minor over C7. That would move to F or F major, F minor. And the scale would be C sharp, D sharp, E natural, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp. And, you know, I know that it gets a little confusing, and the fingering does too. But if you look at your fingering this way, if I start on the note, that is, so here's C7. I'm going to start on the note C. So you might want to call it the super Locrian scale. I don't want to call it that. That's.
Guess who's here?
Oh, wait a minute. We'll continue this later.
What are you rascals doing?
Hi, Pat. Hey, Pat's here. So, Wes, why don't you run that video and we'll get Pat set up.
Okay, yeah. Give me 2 seconds here.
He's going to run a video and then we'll get...
All right. How are you?
How did you get off metformin?
I use the 10-second peanut trick.
Really wide.
What's on your list?
Hey, we're in there. Oh, I just,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I figured I'd write down some that probably,
Right.
a lot of those we probably both know.
So your guys are on. You're
Okay, we on. Okay, here we are. Here's Pat. Pat Kelley, ladies and gentlemen. Pat, see over here.
Rich.
These are all the comments that people are looking.
Oh,
See,
yes.
there's 103 people looking.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody.
You just left your party at your house. You had that many in your house.
Not quite.
Pat moved up here from Los Angeles to Atascadero and bought a beautiful home up in the mountains. Life is rough, isn't it?
It's been really nice being up here.
Oh, yeah.
The traffic, although I've gone down to LA a number of times for things I want to do, so we're still close enough for that if we want to do that.
Right. So, so Pat, now what? Let's play a song, and let's play Midnight Blue because
Okay.
you introduced me to this song.
All right, it's a fun song everybody likes.
Yeah. Do you want?
that last chord again. Oh, we both went for that major minor.
Spy chord. Got a spy chord at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you sound wonderful, Pat. Thank you for being here.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So Pat's done our workshop three times, I think, more than any other guest.
Yeah, and it was total
Finally.
blast. Everybody should come if you haven't been to it yet.
Yeah. I mean,
It's super, super fun weekend.
yeah. And now we have this Jazz Guitar Fest that we're going to be doing. And Pat is going to be a big part of that because you're going to be folding the chairs and
I'm
setting
good
the
at folding the chairs. And
yeah, working on the buffet table. So, so a lot of people don't know too much about you, but I've known about you a long time. When I was a young man.
When we were young men.
Yeah. Well, I was driving down to Palisades, Pacific Palisades, I think it is. There's a hungry tiger there. And I was working a gig there.
All right.
And on the way home, we always had to stop at the Flying Jib.
Oh, yeah.
And the Flying Jib was Pat's band. What was the name of the band?
Well, we actually called it the Dave Boroff Band. He was the saxophone player.
Oh, okay.
And I wrote about half the material, and he wrote about half of the material, and it was mostly all original, fusion stuff. Amazing band.
Yeah, but you were the buzz. You were the buzzword.
Oh man!
Did you guys hear Pat Kelley?
Time.
Yeah, and you remember? Correct me if I'm wrong. You were playing out of two Yamaha G100s.
At one point I was. We played there for almost 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it started off one night a week, ended up being 3 nights. I mean, the band was amazing. Vinny Colaiuta on drums, Neil Steubenhaus on bass,
really,
Artemy Finch on keyboards, Michael Fisher percussion. Yeah, it was a killing band. Dave Boroff on sax. We played for almost 3 years. So during that period of time, a few things changed. I know I had a boogie amp part of the time too. That boogie was like a new rage came out all of a sudden. Oh man, you can, know. But I did those Yamaha amps became kind of really popular with everybody too for a little while, and they were pretty cool amps too. I don't know.
It's funny. I just got rid of mine.
Yeah, you just end up trading stuff off over the years sometimes, but they were pretty cool. So I remember I did have two of those at one time, and
those were heavy.
They
had that big ass speaker there.
Yeah, I guess the speaker was kind of heavy in those. Yeah.
So people were asking actually about, because we've been demoing this amp.
Yeah.
And some folks have been asking about this versus tube.
Yeah, I've been wanting to demo one of these out in a situation as well.
Well, you can borrow mine whenever you want. Go check it out.
Yeah, it might be cool.
They'll be at the show.
Yeah, hard to tell sometimes, how an amp functions till you actually use it some, I mean, if you're using it super soft in your bedroom or something, it can be a little bit different than, when you're trying to get over a drum set or something.
Right, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I've had that happen many a time. But anyway, I said, well, Pat would be the guy to talk to about tube versus solid state or whatever. Because you're a tube.
I'm a tube amp geek.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I told him about your dad's Bassman.
Yeah, that's a sweet amp. That's a Tweed 50s Bassman. It sounds great. Amazing.
Right, yeah.
Those go for so much money now.
I know.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. You keep thinking, well, prices are probably going to go down. Like somebody just said, Bruce on here said he 3 years ago he puts on guitar shows that they sold a Vibro Verb, which I used to have one.
Yeah.
$9,000.
Wow. Yeah. That's not surprising. I don't know what year it was, but some of them are.
You can buy a car for that.
I know. Some of them are amazing how the prices they're going for. Yeah,
Yeah.
For sure.
Good grief, Charlie Brown.
Yeah. I've got a Blackface Deluxe 64 that I've owned since the probably early 70s. I probably paid $200 for it at that
Right,
time. And
right.
you cannot touch that amp now for less than about $5.
Really?
I look all the time on Reverb.
Oh, you're kidding.
$4 or $5,000, man. It's amazing. They've shot up over the last couple of years. About another $1,000. It's
God.
funny.
Well, you know, I sold. I had bought one of those, and then when I got with Quilter, I was using that, and also a Vibra Lux. And then I thought, once I got my Quilter, I'm never going to take this out, you know.
Yeah.
So.
The heaviness doesn't really bother me. I'm in good shape.
Well, that's right. You know, you're a muscle
But also,
guy.
I mean, I use a muscle guy. Yeah. I use a card, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, I get it out of the car unless it was insane. I've got a matchless chieftain, and that thing has gotten heavy over the years. Boy, man, that sucker is heavy.
So you got to bring your wife to the gig.
I haven't used it on a live gig in a while, but if I was playing a real big cranking gig, I might have to take that. I still have it, though, but great sounding amp, but it's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about this guitar. It's a Benedetto, right?
Yeah, this guitar I love. It's actually... I've owned this guitar quite a long time, and it took me a pretty long time for some reason it's kind of become my main guitar for a while lately, and everybody loves this guitar. It's weird. I think they love the color of it. And Benedetto stopped making this color. Which,
oh, really?
When I saw this years ago, I probably had it for 10 years or so, and I got it. I saw it at the NAMM show, and I like this model. It's a hollow body guitar, but has no F holes. I mean, it's not like a 335.
So it's totally hollow.
Yeah, totally hollow. It's got a jazz bridge on it. You know, it doesn't have a stop tailpiece like
Right.
a 335 or something like that.
It's got the Benedetto bridge.
And
yeah.
right. And so, I mean, and
Tailpiece,
it plays great. It's, you know, I'm not that big, so the size is great. Feels really comfortable to stand up with, but never has any feedback problems either. If you're on like an organ trio or anything that starts getting a little loud to use certain guitars on.
So do you think it feeds back less than like a 330?
Yeah, probably.
Really, because of the no?
Maybe so.
No
I don't know
F-holes?
about that. Yeah, because those will, unlike a 335, 330 can feed back some because it doesn't have that block in it.
Right.
It's,
yeah.
But but it does have holes in it, the 330. So this may feed back less because I haven't ever had any problem with this feeding back.
Really?
I mean,
that's cool.
Yeah.
And that's called the Benny? Or the...
No, this is a Bambino.
A Bambino.
Yeah. I wanted this color, though, when they were making it, because I wanted a guitar that was a little less like a traditional-looking jazz guitar for certain gigs. And
right, yeah.
And, you know, most of the jazz guys, they want something that looks more like a, traditional jazz guy with...
Right. Well, what's the blonde guitar you have?
That's a Roger Boris guitar, and it's fantastic, too. Roger
Boris,
makes
yeah.
Borys, Roger Boris. Yeah, he makes...
And he's New York?
Yeah,
he's in New
actually
York,
New Jersey, just across the river from... Yeah, I have two of his guitars. One of them I've had a pretty long time. It's was made in '84, and I bought it used, but I've had it for quite a few years. And then I have one that was made in 2008, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
Blonde one that you remember.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, here we are, man. We're in the Pee Wee's Playhouse here.
Yeah. This is cool.
Yeah, we had Mike in here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Pat has played with George Benson and Natalie Cole, right? Ronnie Laws.
Yeah.
A lot of guys.
Yeah. Tom Scott.
David
Benoit, Burt Bacharach. I've worked with a lot of different people over the years, and
right, that's cool. Burt Bacharach, huh?
Yeah, I did some number of years ago, a bunch of concerts with him. He did a lot of symphony orchestras.
Oh, how cool!
Go in and be a pops guest with symphony orchestras, that sort of thing. I mean, some other things too, but a lot of that sort of stuff too with him.
I like his songs.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he's written some unbelievable songs. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Just really
giant list of them. You can play one after another on a concert that everybody knows.
Yeah,
that's a nice.
And
thing.
Every one of the songs has got something a little different in it. It's just a little twist, and it's
he somehow made those odd bars that he would throw in their work in a way where.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever wrote anything like that where he was thinking, I'm going to make this hip with an odd bar. You know, it was like the way he felt the melody flowing, and he'd make the melody so strong on that I mean, people that don't know anything about that could still sing it with those odd bars in it.
Yeah.
You know?
Crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's an experienced fella. So Pat's here. We got to talk about the Central Coast Jazz Guitar Festival that we are putting on. Pat's going to be a featured guest here, along with Bruce Foreman and Brad Rabution, David Becker, Adam's going to be there, Mitch Holder and Tom Rotella. Oh, wow. We got Sean.
Oh,
Do you know Sean?
Yes, I know Sean real well. Is he coming out for that?
He's coming
Okay,
out, yeah. And Nate Lopez,
that.
You know Nate?
I do not know Nate.
I
know everyone else fairly well. I'm going to see Bruce tomorrow. He's coming over to the house, and he's going to have dinner with us.
Oh, nice,
so
nice.
That's funny. I keep in touch with him pretty.
I didn't get the invitation.
Yeah, well, he's traveling back up from L.A. to up to
so this is
Carmel,
the pit stop.
Yeah, he pit stop. He stops over.
Yeah. So one of the things that we want to do, my vision for the festival is really just for that weekend to be submerged in jazz guitar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we got wonderful players. And then I don't know if you saw the schedule. Did you see the schedule yet?
Hey,
Wes, could you bring up that schedule? But, yeah, I haven't got you assigned any schedule, but we've got 20 classes that we're going to be doing.
Wow, that's awesome.
I
sent you some info yesterday regarding all that stuff. Really looking forward to it. I know if it's anything like your camp, it'll be nonstop. I mean, it's amazing, man. We just like from the time you get up in the morning until you go to bed, it's like nonstop music and guitar, you know, and fun too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this is going to be a lot like that too.
Oh yeah, and then some. You know, we'll have all these intensive or whatever you call them, and you know, it's hard to in an hour class. What do you think you want to try to show the guys?
Yeah.
What you were talking about? What you want to do?
Yeah. Well, I have a book. Actually, I think you have it here.
I think I do. This one?
Lovely wife. These two books. But I was thinking of wanting to do a workshop on how to use that arpeggio book. Especially.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I mean, I could do it on the melodic minor too. The arpeggio book will pretty much speak to everybody that's there.
That's good.
Probably, you know, not quite as advanced as guys that are really getting deep into the melodic minor harmony and all that, that stuff. But you know how to use these and stack arpeggios to make more beautiful sound. Yeah, upper extensions and all that. How just the book mainly focuses on how to use 6 different seventh chord arpeggios and basically make pretty much every chord sound that you're going to use.
Oh, cool.
And the extended versions of them as well, you know, with 9s and 11s and so forth. And so
that's what I have on my guitar, 9s and 11s.
Yeah.
Different meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different meaning.
Good. So that's good. So we have 2 sessions probably with you. The reason I say that is we're starting to get more and more people that want to present at this, and so you might.
Well, I'm loose for whatever. So
yeah. So, but anyway, the second one would, our vision was to have kind of an open question and answer kind of thing.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
That's always fun. And that could involve a few teachers probably at the same time.
Well, you know,
possibly.
that sort of thing.
That's
a great point. That's a good idea. I didn't even think
Because
about
different
that.
people might have also a little different thing to add to whatever question might be.
Yeah, so we could
come up
combine
and
a
that
couple
kind of thing.
guys.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
would be more fun.
And with his experience, I think you're gonna be really, and plus he's a great teacher. So you taught at USC for how long?
24 years. Wow.
And they finally let you out.
Finally. Just before the pandemic. Boy, it was good timing, actually, that I
Yeah.
left just a little bit before that. Yeah.
24 years. Wow,
I know. It's
that's crazy.
a good thing.
So that's a nice. What do you call it? Accolade or whatever. What would the word be? Looks good on your resume.
It's good on my resume. But
Yeah,
I don't need a resume that much anymore, though.
I know. Yeah. Hey, Wes, you had some questions, didn't you, for Pat?
Uh-oh.
Well, no, just was more curious. Just about you've taught at USC, obviously. So, was it a bunch of younger guys there? Or did you get what did that look like for what was a typical class kind of look like?
Okay. Well, we had a master's and doctoral program also there. So most of the students that were in the undergrad were younger guys. So yeah, I was hanging around with a lot of guys that were just out of high school. Not necessarily all of them, but they were younger. But we had some guys in the. I designed and taught a couple of classes for the doctoral students, and some of those guys were guys that have been playing for already quite a long time, and some of them were already really good guitar players, and wanted to come back and get a degree so that they could have a better chance at teaching. Nowadays it's become so stringent in what especially state colleges want from teachers as far as having degrees and things.
Yeah.
Like that USC was a little bit different because it's a private school, so they can hire whoever they want. So a whole lot of they have had a tendency to hire lots of real professional musicians. Not that those other people have degrees or not, but I mean,
Right.
Not necessarily.
Their degree is in real life.
Not necessarily requiring Peter Erskine to have a doctoral degree to teach there or something, or Bob Mitzer or whoever else, Patrice Rush, and if there's a lot of people that teach there, that they can hire, where I guess the rules kind of don't allow it. Anyway, I got a little bit off the point there, but we had a lot of guys that were maybe a little bit older coming in for some of those degrees like that. So yeah, it was kind of mixed,
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
I went to. Hey, Wes, let's open that door a little bit. Would you mind?
Okay.
The Rocky Mountain Festival that I went to, that we met with Peter and stuff. But John Story was there with his trio.
Yeah, the New West guitar group. You mean?
Yeah.
Well, I started that group.
That's what. That's why I'm mentioning.
Those guys were. Well, it was a quartet originally.
Was it?
Yeah, and it was one of my ensembles because I was coaching ensemble, and so I took those guys over. Most of our ensembles there worked with bass and drums. This one we did more like more like the classical concert might be in the ways, but it was more jazz. No rhythm section, just 4 guitars.
Right.
And they wrote all their own stuff. They stayed together. They had a couple of changes. They went down to a trio when Matt Roberts left, and then they had Brady Cohan was guitar player in it originally. They've gone through a couple of different changes, and Will Brahm, who's fantastic, is in the group now, and so is Perry Smith and John Story. Those guys have gotten to be amazingly great guitar players.
Oh, yeah. And the lines they all play in harmony and stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's
No, they
like
worked
crazy.
stuff. Yeah, we made an album that first year, and
Jeez.
but obviously they've been out a long time
Yeah.
now. Those guys are like in their mid to late 30s now, so they're not like 18 anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool. They stayed together.
Well, after I heard them, because you and me and Mike were doing a couple trio things.
Yeah.
And I kept wanting to, maybe we ought to start rehearsing and stuff. And your comment was, do you realize how much rehearsal this is going to be?
But to do it, what those guys are doing at Sherwood.
I
mean,
know,
'cause
but that was an eye opener.
Because they've evolved into like some
my
ridiculous
God.
like stuff,
Yeah.
lines that it definitely takes some shedding, even though they're great guitar players, put a lot of time into that. So
Well, anyway, but getting back to the camp and the not the camp but the festival, I think we're all going to have a wonderful time, and
no doubt, and not to mention it's in a fantastic place. If anybody's watching this from out of town, it's like the vacation spot everybody wants to go to. Cambria, so come and stay a few extra days and
it's
enjoy
right
the coast.
where the pine trees hit the ocean. It's right,
Yeah.
Where that whole sea, like Big Sur,
Oh yeah.
kind of starts.
It's
It's very beautiful.
Very beautiful. The elephant seals are just north.
Oh yeah, elephant seals, and so it's a gorgeous place. We're gonna have a lot of music going on all day, and I'm so happy Pat will be there with us. You want to play another tune?
Yeah, we like to do that. So let's
I
play
mean, I
another-
guess Wes. Does anybody have any classes?
Questions?
Oh wait a minute. Robin said he took a class with Pat at USC.
Oh, who is it?
Robin Riggs.
Yeah, let's see. Which class was it? I wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll respond.
Yeah, it's hard to remember sometimes. Like which classes which to. I did some undergrad classes, and we all did private lessons there too. All the guys that teach.
Oh,
there.
did you?
Yeah, Frank Potenza and Bruce and Richard Smith, Steve Travato. All switch guys around. Yeah. Are you an F?
I hope so. That's a great tune. I've been working with my students. I started teaching some private lessons now. I love that song because it uses all the secondary dominants in the book.
Great tune. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions out there for Pat, you guys? You know, I always keep waiting for somebody to respond back. You ask, but it takes a while. You got to get. What do you think, Wes?
Well,
USC with Kenny B.
What? What's that say?
USC with Kenny B. I don't know
What that's supposed to mean.
What does that mean?
Not sure what that means.
What does it mean, Lachlan?
I don't think he went to school there, but actually, I gave his son a few guitar lessons. Where right before he was starting college, Kenny brought his son over to the house. And
Kenny G?
Yeah, brought his son over who plays guitar. He was thinking of going to USC and just wanted to also just work on a couple more jazzy things. He was really incredible shredder, had really great chops.
Oh, really?
For playing rock stuff like that, a whole lot of chops. So he's probably still playing. I think he decided to go to school in New York or something. So and not stay in California. But so don't know what happened to him after that. But he's probably shredding away. I'm sure.
Like his dad. His
definitely
dad
has
was
some
a
chops.
shredder.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Pat. That guitar does sound well. I think it's the player. Did you use round wounds?
Round wounds. Yeah.
Yeah, you did, huh?
You too, or not?
No,
those
these
flats?
are flats.
Those are flats. Yeah, I've always used round wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that comes up sometimes in the clinics where you talk about different guys' sound and the way
Right.
they, hit the strings and their pick angle and all that sort of stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, John Pisano's guitar night. I don't know if you were ever there on one of the nights when he used to bring Joe Pass's guitar out on Joe's birthday, his 175, and a lot of different guys that sit in, and everybody sound a little bit different on it. Same guitar, same amp,
Right.
and everything. So,
I heard the action was super low.
yeah, I guess I don't remember. I remember it played fine, played easy. Yeah, can't quite remember if it was low. Yeah, you don't have yours too high though, right?
Not
Your
at all.
actions. Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say,
you
pretty
can
low.
breathe on it.
Yeah.
And it'll fret a note. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people are wondering that guitar being no F holes is it harder to work on? I'm guessing you haven't.
That's a good.
Well, that's a good question. I've never had to work on it, but I imagine in some ways it would be. Even on guitars that have F holes, like even 335s or any kind of guitar like that, a lot of times they have to take a pickup out.
Yeah.
Or something to have a hole to
Yeah,
work in if it's certain kind of thing. It's not like a guitar with a plate on the back of it or something like that.
Yeah, well, even like I was just working on a 66 175, and the thing it had a short in the jack.
Oh yeah, that's hard to get to.
But the F-holes were so little, they didn't do any good. You couldn't get it
Right.
out, so you got to take it out all anyways. Yeah.
So I haven't ever had any problems or any work done on it, so I don't know.
This is thicker than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
not-
what, 2 inches?
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's not as thick as that guitar, but it's
No.
very comfortable size. I guess that's I forgot if that's a 15 or 14 and a half or 15 about, but anyway, it's
Yeah.
sets
It's punchy.
easy. Yeah, it's very even all the way up and down, even the high notes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably not the best guitar to use sometimes on a workshop because I don't have any dots on it or any
Yeah.
inlays. So
That's the problem
Sometimes
with-
I'll take another guitar so people and the audience can see. I never think about it when I'm playing, but it's kind of hard to see.
Well, that's why I have a John Pisano, and I ended up finally putting stick-on numbers.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
It got a lot of hits. The first time I did that, it created a firestorm.
You know, like 5, 7.
Yeah,
put
exactly.
Numbers.
Yeah.
12.
It really messed them up when I put it in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that would really foul you up.
What is the actual strings set that you're using on there? Like who makes them and what's the gauge?
Oh, on this, yeah, I've used same string set for years and years. I've just used Diodario nickel round wounds. On this guitar I have 12 on the first string. I think it goes from 12 to 52. I think it's the way they gauge it, but they've always been consistent. I've never had any problem with them, and the price is pretty good on them too compared to a few brands.
I know.
It's I mean they always sound great to me. I have a couple of guitars that I use the same strings on, but lighter gauge too. Like on a 335, I usually put an 11 with a plain third instead of a wound. I've got a wound third in this set, like more jazz guitar kind of setup. And then
when you were playing rock, what was the top string?
Yeah, on Strats and Tellys even now or something like that, I usually have a 10.
10.
Yeah, I'll have a lighter set of strings on those, especially on Fender guitars sometimes because the longer scale, sometimes they're stiffer than a 335.
Right.
Usually, 335, I can bend the strings really good with an 11 on there in a plain third, Although the set I really like the most on that guitar is the Diodario 10.5 set.
Oh, really?
They actually make it's just a little bit lighter than 11 set.
It's amazing what just a little bit can do.
But for the kind of stuff I play on, on these guitars, which is a lot of chordal things, I mean, I like a wound third, and and it sounds better for octaves too. But it's anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not doing gigantic string bending kind of stuff on this guitar. Doing it other ways. So.
Yeah, so we showed that clip of you playing with George Benson when you were a younger man.
Yeah, that was in the 90s, that clip. That was a Michael Stevens guitar, which I still have. A fantastic guitar. It's a lot like a chambered body Les Paul.
Oh, really?
Great sounding guitar. He's in Texas, really good guitar maker. But anyway, so that would have been strung, probably with most likely a 10 or something,
What was it like working with George? I mean, because, my God, he's the man, right?
Yeah, it was, we had some great times. I mean, we just,
Seemed like he really appreciated your playing, too.
He was super good guy. He treated everybody really nice. He was very good person, good to the sound people and the crew and everybody like that, and never minded people coming up to him. Either some people are kind of put off by that, they get kind of tired of it, but he was always fine if people, we'd be traveling and he'd have his guitar, he'd be carrying on, we'd be in airports sometimes and he'd have his guitar out, he'd just be playing, some people didn't really know who it was, and some people who realized who it was and gathered around or whatever, but he was playing all the time. And his sound checks, we'd play jazz tunes for mostly, or just some other stuff, for the most part, because he, did a lot of the same tunes,
Right.
What happens when you have a bunch of big hits, and
you got to play the hits.
They cannot get away from those. No way, because that's what people want to hear.
But George, one thing about him, like, he'd improvise. No way he's playing the same solo. Would he ever play the same solo on Breezin'?
No, probably not exactly on that. Though funny, like on this Masquerade, pretty much. I actually asked him one time about that, and he said, everybody used to always try to imitate his voice. He'd say, "Brother, I just played that song," and somebody came up and said, "Why don't you play this Masquerade?" That's the last. He started playing. That solo though had the singing thing with it. It was a little more set probably in people's mind because it was such a melodic thing and they heard that record a lot. So they're anyway.
Did you think? And Bruce Foreman is the one who brought this up, and I never heard this. Because you can sing, you can sing that stuff, but are you hearing it and then singing it a split second later? Or is he?
Singing
George.
It. Yeah, you ever do that yourself?
Yeah.
Well,
I kind of felt like everybody can.
I was going to say you probably can answer that question too, because I know you sing. You're a singer too, so that helps if you can sit. If you can. What else? What are you talking about, man? No, it'd be easier than somebody that feels like they can't sing at all. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a good question because it. I don't know. It is kind of. I don't know if I can actually answer that. It just sort of.
I know
it sort of happens at the same time. If you. sort of, and how accurate the voice is, I don't know, but it's pretty close on there most of the time.
Yeah,
You know,
that
it's a
sounded
little
good,
bit off,
yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question, though.
Yeah, I've never heard that. Are you actually hearing it a split second and then singing it, or are you actually singing it and playing?
I think it has to be more instantaneous. I mean, I don't know
I
how
would
you.
think so
I
too.
don't know how you have time to really think of it ahead of time. I mean, it almost has to be just about instantaneous that you're hearing and playing the note at the same time. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, George Benson, yeah. And tell me, how was Natalie Cole working with Natalie?
Oh, fabulous. Especially in terms of how good she was. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of some CDs that were made off the board of some of our concerts. I'm not going to be releasing any of those because they belong to her concert.
You don't want to get sued.
But, man, every one of them, her vocal sounds like a record. Just perfect pitch, almost perfect pitch, and phrasing great. Articulation, everything about its style. She was just really good. We were doing mostly her jazz book at that time. We'd do a few of her earlier funky and more rock tunes at the end of the show, usually a couple of those. I'd switch. I'd play jazz guitar on most of her thing, and I'd switch and grab a Strat, which I'd take along, and even a couple of things, because she did some stuff that was quite a bit different in her real early career, and then she did all those fantastic jazz records all those are so good, all the arrangements and everything. When I was still working with George, I'll just tell this story real quick. We were doing some recording. He had a studio in Maui back in the days. You might have heard. Yeah, he had a house over there too. Anyway, we were over there and we're in the studio going to do some stuff. And Al Schmidt came over, the famous engineer, best guy ever, probably over at least one of them. And he was really excited. He played that mashup of Natalie and her dad singing Unforgettable. That's quite a few years ago now.
Right.
And he said, "You guys got to hear this." And he played that thing. So that record wasn't even quite out yet.
Oh, and you got to hear it first.
And then so that was, we did that song almost every night with her because they projected him on the screen behind, and it was like they were singing together. But she had a huge book of songs, so she switched it up a lot.
And her MD was a girl.
Gail.
Gail? Was that her name? Yeah.
Yeah. At the time I was doing it, and she handled. She had a humongous library. That was a big job taking care of that too, because she had big band charts and orchestra charts. We did some gigs with some symphony orchestras or big band, and then some with just with the small group too. There were a lot of guitar lines in the jazz stuff, especially when we were doing it with a smaller group. They had a lot of the lines written out that the horn guys, probably take charge of for the most part. I'd still double them anyway,
Right. It sounds so cool when you double them with guitar.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of that stuff, and it was a real killer band. Ralph Humphrey, we lost not very long ago. Fabulous drummer, and Terry Trotter and John Bell's a guy. That was a rhythm section. Yeah, it was a real good band.
Terry Trotter is.
Yeah, Terry was something.
If you watch Raymond, that's Terry Trotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an amazing player.
When I saw her at a casino, it was one of the quietest concerts I've ever seen.
Wow. Where?
It was at. You weren't on the gig.
Before or after I was there? I wonder when was it.
I have no idea.
Well, anyway.
It was, I know it wasn't you. But a wonderful guitar player. And they did Route 66.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a lot of songs that Nat did.
Yeah,
also her arrangement. A lot of the same tunes, yeah.
Well, what's up, Wes?
Adrian Lee has a question here. I'm assuming it's for Pat, but maybe you can answer it too. She said, so when my folks brought home Howard Roberts is a dirty guitar player, I fell in love. I saw you were impressed with that too. What was your favorite tune on that record?
Whoa, boy, I was really turned on by Howard at that time. My dad played guitar too, not for a living, but played and had some jam sessions sometimes. So one of his friends brought, I was probably about 13, something like that, and brought over a couple, probably that one. It's hard for me to remember now which songs are on which one because I had all those Capitol records and there were several of them. And so I'm trying to remember, I might call out a song and it might be one that was on one of the other records. I can't quite remember, because it's a while ago. But boy, yeah, Howard was my idol. I mean, I lived in Tulsa, Oklahoma, then I grew up there. And when I was 18, I mean, I drove to California, my first trip, to attend Howard Roberts' 5 days seminar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was at the Knickerbocker Hotel in Hollywood, and all day long for 5 days. He used to do those, and so yeah, he was my early idol. I went to Johnny Smith's seminar the following summer in Colorado because he was doing 5 day long camps or seminars like that as well at that time.
Wow, that's cool.
Howard, I'm sorry I don't remember exactly which song on that particular album. I mean, I liked all those songs. I played those over and over again a whole lot.
I always liked his version of...
Oh, yeah.
Good place to end.
Jump right into that.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was relaxing. And Camarillo, I didn't quite play it as well as I should have. And I remember I thought his opening lick was something like something like that,
Yeah.
But
yeah, I even had sunglasses like him.
Did you really? Oh, man.
Yeah, probably. Like
I was at
14,
GIT
15.
for 3 years. I got to meet him once. I only saw him there once.
Yeah.
I was like awestruck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I still have material from that that I've saved from that workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't throw that away.
All written out by hand at that time instead of
Right.
computer, obviously.
Yeah. They would have had to mimeograph it.
Yeah. Boy, I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
What is the scale length of that guitar there, Pat?
I think it's 24 3/4.
Think so?
Like, yeah, I don't think it's 25-inch scale. Boy, it's so funny. Sometimes I play the thing and don't even know anything about certain things
Well,
about it. I'm
there's
pretty
only
sure. I'm
one way
pretty
to
sure
tell.
it's 24 3/4. I usually like the feel of 24 3/4 scale guitars. Okay, yeah. How do you measure what from here to here? Is that,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
how it works?
Put that on the nut, and then just.
What's it say?
It says 25 and a half.
Really? So it's 25 and a half. Man, I didn't know that. Well, that's probably why it sounds good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. Shows how much I pick it up and go, oh yeah, feels good, sounds good, whatever.
Right. I've learned a lot from like just stealing in guitars and stuff. And one of the things I've noticed that the longer the string is back here, the more flexible it feels.
Oh, okay.
Like a stop tail piece on a 335. If you put the string set on that, and then one with the trapeze,
Oh yeah.
the trapeze will feel floppier.
Oh really?
But so it's easier to bend on the stop. But whatever. Anything else, Wes?
No, there's no more questions. Yeah, none that I see. Definitely just curious on my end if there was like a moment when you were learning jazz, if you remember something when like all of a sudden like something just clicked for you and opened up kind of a new door, or when you were first kind of learning, and how it could pertain to guys who are kind of newer in the jazz arena here.
Yeah. Well, you get turned on by stuff along the way. That's probably one of the main motivating factors for people. You hear somebody, some music, especially maybe hearing it live, and going, wow, that is really, turns me on to hear that. That makes me want to play.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Sometimes, the overall process of playing the guitar and learning how to play is it's a long step-by-step process, and the important thing I think for people to keep doing it and get good at something is you got to really enjoy doing this. Because you have to have the guitar in your hands a lot.
Yeah.
If you got to spend a lot of time with it, but hopefully enjoy it along the process of it. I think I was pretty good at not expecting myself to already be Howard Roberts when I was 14. And, but that's not the case for everybody.
That's true.
Some people, if they don't already sound like their idol or whatever, they think, oh, I don't have it or I'll never be there. They don't realize that, 95% of it is work on the instrument probably. You can have a natural inclination to, to hear music, and probably more than some people, but it's still, no matter how good that is, you got to put the time into it to get where you can do something, just like the sport, just like playing tennis or whatever. You got to hit a million balls, man, to have a consistent stroke, So I don't know. If I answered that question very good, I don't know if there was one particular moment. You discover little things along the way. I discover things now. I'll be goofing around with something and go, oh my gosh, I didn't think about approaching that or playing these changes this way over this tune or whatever, So
right, or fingering patterns.
Yeah, it's kind of
fingering patterns. You stumble on things.
Journey of discovery.
I think one of the things that is important is you got to really want to practice. Like it's if you don't get to practice, you really feel deprived.
Boy, or guilty.
Guilty or deprived, yeah. I
not so much anymore, but I used to, man. I've hardly. You're probably like me. You almost every day of your life you played the guitar.
Yeah.
So.
And then if you don't get to do it, you feel deprived. And it's like, I never was, like my mom would say, I never had to have you, to make you practice. Never. So it's like.
Right. I was like that too. I mean, my reputation with everybody would be, I'd be in there practicing, or I'd come in from playing because I wanted to
right.
play, want to work on the guitar. I mean, you're probably the same way. It's probably been your whole identity with everybody, your whole life, basically.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's like, you'll hear Joe Pass talking and say, well, you got to practice 5 hours a day. I wish I had the time to do that, but it would be fun. I mean, just to play for 5 hours. I mean, explore and just really get down to it for 5 hours a day.
You probably had times when you did that, I bet.
I did. Yes, I did. Yeah.
I know. I certainly did too. Certain periods of time. Where it was some of my full-time job. If we weren't jam sessioning or doing something else that had to do with it, especially my early 20s and late teens,
Yeah.
What do you think about that Henriksen amplifier? Someone's asking that.
Well, I've hardly played through it so far. It sounds really nice. Sounds really clear. Again, it'd be fun to check it out on
a gig.
On some gigs and a few other situations. But what I might do. It's a slightly different kind of sound. It's almost more like high fidelity in a way.
Yeah, you're right.
As far as
it's got an old school sound to it, I think. Like an old hi-fi.
Yeah. But I've hardly messed with it. I just kind of came in here and plugged into it. So look forward to checking it out some more. And
one thing I noticed I think like what you said, Wes, that it sounds almost like just going direct.
Yeah.
So there's not a whole lot of amplifier influence.
Yeah. I like the squish that you get from a tube amp, the compression that it makes it feel a little bit more like it's breathes with your...
Feels looser?
Well, breathes a little bit more with your attack and everything.
Right.
Sometimes, too. But, I might end up having to pick one of these up. I'd always wondered, like, which one. They advertised that Bud 6 a whole lot, but I always thought this might be more versatile, having a slightly bigger one. I don't know. This isn't very heavy either.
They make the blue with only one.
Is this a blue?
No, this is a Bud. The Bud means it's got 2 channels.
Oh, okay.
So you and a Bud can play.
Oh, okay.
The blue is one channel.
Okay, yeah. The 2-channel, you could also plug a microphone into that. It's got an XLR type jack on it too, which if you were doing a solo gig and singing, that could be really cool, really useful. Separate reverb on that channel too.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And it does have Bluetooth in, so if you're running tracks or something like that.
That is cool. Can you flip off the tweeter for a second and play?
Oh, was the tweeter on it?
Yeah, the tweeter was on.
Yeah. That's probably why it sounds a little high-ended. Yeah.
Now that's on. Not a whole lot of difference, is it?
A little bit. Flip it back on again for a second.
Yeah, you got
a little bit. Yeah. Not as much as I'd think.
Yeah. It brings out the kind of the high-end nuance of the...
Would probably would be great if you were playing nylon string guitar or acoustic guitar or something like that, where a tweeter kind of sound is really beneficial to that sort of instrument. Yeah, where these kind of guitars, we sometimes want a little more mid-range.
Yeah. So this is off. is on. But I don't know if this microphone, you're going to hear it with this mic, because the tweeter's over here and the mic's hanging down here.
Oh.
You know, for them.
Yeah.
Well, it's just on the overhead mic right now, so.
What?
It's just on the overhead, so.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, there's not a... That's on.
That's on.
And... this is on.
Oh, that's sweet.
I think I like it better off.
Off.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it sounds better with it off.
Yeah. Probably so.
It just sounds jazzier.
Well, if it doesn't sound good with these guitars, we got a problem. All right?
Yeah, that's not a bad little guitar you got there.
No, it's not too bad. I picked it up, at a yard sale.
Speaking of guitars, Dave Bronson was asking, do you have a small group of guitars you go to for gigging?
Yeah, I do. This, is one of them here, and for the jazz type boxes, this Benedetto or my Roger Boris guitar, one of those two guitars. I also have a Bill Cummins guitar, really nice. He makes some amazing big archtop guitars too. The one I have of his is a model he started making that's a thinner, slightly smaller body, and it has a stop tailpiece like a 335. Really cool guitar too, so I've been using that on some stuff too. A little bit more, if I want a guitar with slightly lighter strings, it's kind of does the same thing as a 335, but it also works great for a jazz box too. And then I do have a good 335 once in a while, and I have a couple of Strats and a Telly. I haven't been using those much at all lately, though. I mean, I haven't been doing mostly all just jazz gigs. But if it was something that I decided I wanted to do, that was, this guitar, might not work as well as a Strat for something. But I really haven't been doing much of that kind of stuff lately. I've got a nylon string too, and a couple of good steel string guitars. I use those a lot for a lot of session work, and especially when I was doing a whole lot more of that stuff. So I've used a nylon string a whole lot, and I've got a couple of really good steel string guitars too, which I enjoy too. Although, I've been kind of limiting myself to playing with the jazz boxes mostly the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Because I've been doing mostly gigs
Yeah.
that utilize that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Solo guitar gigs and more jazz gigs,
Good fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's...
Okay, well, we might as well wrap it up, I think, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, if you guys want to hear Pat, come to the Central Coast Jazz Guitar Fest. You can get tickets on here, and there's the hotel info. It's definitely a place you're going to want to come if you like jazz and you like beautiful beach settings with great weather.
And cool people to hang out with.
It will be a great hang.
Gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's definitely a big part of it, is the hangout for sure. You're going to be around some cool people. And, here's some of the other guys that are going to be there. And
Mitch Holder's going to be there, too. Boy, he has a tremendous resume of sessions that he's worked on. I mean, as far as he was in the group of guys just a little bit before me. Man, he played a lot of movies and things like that. And he's a fun guy too. So
Tonight
group
Show,
of guys will
Tonight Show,
be a lot
man.
of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the kind of thing, I know that once we get it done with, it's going to be like, why didn't I do this 20 years ago?
Well, there's the next 20 years.
yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
exactly.
We better stay in shape.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Off to the gym we go.
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's, Pat, thank you so much for doing this. I
Hey, it was
really
a blast.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me in.
And Wes?
Enjoyed it. I can't wait for the festival
Yeah.
in March.
And
Yeah, all the details, again, are at jazzguitarfest.com. You can find everything you need to know there. And we're still updating stuff and lining stuff up. But Henriksen's going to be there with all the amps. So if you like the way the amps sounded today, then bring your guitar, plug one into Henriksen amplifier, and see if you like one. So I'm sure he'll have both models too, the Bud 6 and the Bud 10. So yeah, definitely the place you want to be. Bring your guitar, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time. So jazzguitarfest.com has all the info. Tickets on sale now.
See you there.
yeah.
Here we are. Great minds think alike.
Just like we rehearsed it. Hey, thanks for joining us, you guys. We'll see you next